episode is sponsored by SEO Mechanics Darcy Knapp. You're watching Scene TV, and I'm Maya McNulty, your host, Schenectady Cable Entertainment News and Events. And on today's show, I'd like to welcome George Keleshian of Zeroenergy and One Energy. Welcome to the studio, George.
My pleasure.
Wonderful, wonderful to have you here. So you have a huge company here in the capital region, and great things are happening. Tell us about Zeroenergy.
Right now, Zeroenergy is made up of over doesn't have alternate renewable fuels power manufacturers, designers, engineers, and consultants. It's not a huge company. It's just in the beginning stages. Even though we've been involved over 45 years, the Zeroenergy, we're the original Zeroenergy company. Zeroenergy is basically at this point, we're working on three major areas. One area is taking buildings to net zero, commercial and residential buildings. The other area is our new invention, Zeroenergy walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers. We have our provisional patent 6 weeks ago, and this is going to be very exciting. By the end of the year, we should unveil this new product, and it's going to be net zero, and then next year we'll have totally off-the-grid unit, totally zero energy, where you don't have to hook up to the power grid. And the third, we do turnkey residential commercial installation of alternate renewable fuels power system. One is solar.
Excellent. Tell us about alternative energy and renewable energy manufacturers.
Well, right now, our country has to switch 180 degrees away from the old dinosaur technologies of coal and oil, nuclear, and
fossil fuels.
hydrofracking gas too. We have over 100 different natural systems, alternate renewable fuels power system, and this is what we have to concentrate on. And there's got to be a time of transition that we even gas, we have to move over the next 10, 15 years to these natural systems. And this is how our country is going to be able to focus and get away from the OPEC oil. And because of our national security, there's three major areas our country: national security, economic security, and energy security. And this is where we have to head. We have no other choice but to move this direction at this point.
Excellent. Tell us about the companies in the industry that Zeroenergy and One Energy has helped.
Well, One Energy was started with me and two other gentlemen after 8 years I was with Advance, and we will concentrate on control environment, control temperature, warehouses, walk-in cool freezers, and we use the same panels. Instead of R34, we went up to R50 and R68, super insulated. Right now they call them SIP panels. We used to call it modular stress skin panels. And what we did was we made R70 roofs for buildings and R50 walls, and we broke the frost line and earth effect, 6I monolithic structures we made. And conservation, recovery, change of state is very important. So one of the things that we've done is we've done over 100 different buildings, commercial, industrial, institutional buildings. We've done about 4 municipal buildings. We've done institutions. We've done a research center, and we've done 2 communities, total communities. A new village with Institute of Man of Science, south of Pittsburgh, and this is what we want to continue on doing. We're hoping to find something in New York, Northeast, where we could take a whole community, and within 10 years, we want to have this community be net zero, totally net zero, and no more buildings built after, say, 2015, 16 that are the standard building, be net zero or totally zero energy.
Tell us about the cost involved with a net zero.
Well, the cost at this point, anywhere between 12 to 15% more than a traditional. But there's so much advantage right now with the federal government. If somebody's is able to take the tax advantages. See, a lot of people, if you're paying federal, state tax, not only NYSERDA rebates or National Grid or Con Ed or from the other power companies, there's rebates. There's also 30% federal tax credit, and then there's depreciation for commercial. We're looking at commercial anywhere, depending on what tax bracket they are, 30, 35, 40, anywhere between 5 years all the way down to 3.5 years payback. And one of the things in our industry, about 71% of all the solar installation, if we look at only solar, is right now the companies out there are basically doing no money down system. We're not concentrating on that. Basically, what they do is they keep 75%, and the consumer only gets 25%. Our philosophy, our group philosophy, let the consumer business keep 100%.
Yeah, they're sort of appreciating and not depreciating.
So this way, if you have the tax advantage,
yeah,
after 3.5, 5 years, it's all yours 100% on the solar PV system. Same thing with solar thermal. For heating and cooling systems, and that's of course one area. When anybody asks me, "What are you using?" everybody thinks it's solar. I said, "No, solar is number 100 item. There's 9 different solar systems. There's 99 other natural systems: small wind, small hydro, geothermal, wave, on and on. Because there isn't any." Solar, north side of a mountain, you got to use other systems. Or if you have a 3-4 story high rise in front of you, you got to use other systems. We have one of our concepts on our Zeroenergy cooler freezer. We have a telescopic unit that goes up 30 foot with a solar system that basically, if you're on a 3-story building, north side of it, that it could capture and bring the solar for storage down. What we have done, going all the way back, we did a convenience store. And the customer said, okay, we convinced them, we don't even need any energy we could store. So the convenience store made it out of the whole convenience store, our panel, super insulated panel. And then the display cooler, the roof, the wall, and back was already insulated. So we only had to put the glass display. And we took the compressor heat recovery for during the winter, heat dump during the summer. And probably architect, engineer with solar angle, so we had passed with solar design. And we use the lighting management, lighting control, lighting conservation. As you know, not a lighting technology. We'll bring some out later to show that you could reduce it down to almost 80-85% of conventional lighting. There's not going to be any more incandescent. It's going to be all fluorescent or LED from now on. And then we reduce everything down, and we reduce the basic down again, so 70-80%. Reduce the kilowatt and BTU. Then we use a alternate energy system to make it go net zero.
Now, we're talking about some commercial buildings. What about residential? Is your Zeroenergy efficient for homes?
Very efficient. Very, very efficient. My own solar view estates. My house, within the next 2 months, I'm taking it down to net zero. And then other buildings will be building. And what I did was I've taken steps, and I'll explain to everybody. Where you have to do is change everything to the LED lighting, lighting management, lighting control. Take your refrigerator that's 1.8 or 2.1 kW, bring it down to 600 watts. There's a German model that's 300 watts, but that's 3,100 instead of 1,100, 600 watts. Take the old condenser that you might have if you use a little bit of air conditioning, make it like 70-75% more efficient. Go up to SEER 17, 18 instead of SEER 8. There's different steps that you take.
And this is both for your gas and your electric.
Well, that was for the electric, KW, reduction first.
And the BTUs.
Now, the for heating and cooling, you use solar thermal. That's why I have solar thermal units with storage, hot water storage, and then for your hot water and your heating. But the most important thing is super insulation, 6-sided monolithic structure. Mine, even though I built it back in 1980, I had R50 roof and R40 wall and broke the frost line earth effect. And I had 12-inch block with silica sand, then the freezer panel, then the stone. Even my garage door is R34 insulation. The new ones, the building we're doing, is going to be R70 roof instead of R50, and R50 walls instead of R40. And then even back then, 1980, I had quad pane windows with window quilts.
Right.
And you don't put as much windows on the north side.
Right. Well, you're explaining this all, and I really don't understand
Okay.
much of it. So
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking that most people won't understand either. So do you have a
Okay.
consultant that comes out and explains this to you?
Yes. We do an energy feasibility study, and
Yeah.
we have information. We walk them through step by step so
Okay.
they would understand. If I would come to your place, I would say, okay, I would show you these are the energy inefficient systems that you have. We have to change it. And there's all kinds of power company rebates and NYSERDA rebates for it, so it becomes cost effective for people. As I said, we did a commercial job we just finished, and it was 25.7 kW. We reduced it for 15.1. Now we put on one building 8.2 kW, and that's going net zero. Their kilowatt usage was 973, 1,390, and 1,000. Now on the energy bill is 0.00000.
Yeah.
So that bill shows you how we've taken it to net zero. And then we could do this for other small office and small, businesses. On large businesses like restaurants or hotels, is much harder, or supermarket, because like restaurants is 2.5 times more energy usage than a standard units.
So George, tell us, is Zeroenergy and Energy One just for commercial or residential as well?
No, it's both for commercial and residential systems. We've been doing, as I said, for New York State beer wholesalers, New York State food merchants. We've been doing a lot of projects for them, and for restaurants, motels, but also as much as business side, we've done a lot of residential. Almost 50% to 50% we've been doing.
Tell us about the lighting unit that you have in your hand.
Oh, this is a special commercial recessed lighting unit. You just put it in this LED. So instead of 75 watts, it only uses 13 watts. So it's a retrofit unit. So there's dozens of different LED retrofit units. Even remember I told you about the Zeroenergy cooler? Instead of putting a 100 watt bulb, I only need a 10 watt, 90% reduction. And a lot of the LEDs used to just be focused. Now we have one that spreads out, And even fashion lights, like you see at hotels and motels, there are 25 watt units. Well, we got them down to 5 to 3 watt units now. So you could save not only the amount of kilowatt reduction, but you got to remember the old incandescent lights give off heat.
Right.
As fluorescent LEDs don't give off heat. So one motel, we saved 2.5 tons of air conditioning from the heat that we reduced.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Tell us about the military market and how Zeroenergy has played an important role with that.
Well, we haven't started yet. We are jointly with the federal authority. We're going in with Department of Energy and Department of Defense, our new Zeroenergy totally off-the-grid unit. Military, what has happened is that the Joint Chiefs of Staff 2 years ago, they said 50% reduction has to occur by end of 2014, 2015. Now all the forward bases and main bases. So by 2020, they want to go to net zero. So our Zeroenergy cooler and freezer product is very, very crucial for the plasma, for pharmaceutical, medical, for the military, for remote locations, but also the main bases, at home, because they have a mandate. And what's been happening is all the commandants, they're going to all the national renewable energy laboratories. What do you have for us to get to that goal at this point?
Right.
So we're looking forward at the end of the year in December to present December 3rd, 4th, and 5th to this group.
Excellent. So it's true that the U.S. military announced the mission that it will be self-sustaining by 2020?
Yes. And it all started back in 2019. Camp Pendleton, the Marines, they didn't, some of the young lieutenants, they were doing portable solar systems. And the reason was 50% of all the casualties guarding all the fuel trucks coming in from Pakistan, were caused by, guarding these. Now, you don't have to, when you have a renewable alternate system being used, that's number one. Number two, even when you had the fuel come in, the diesel, the engines, Well, it made noise. The
Yeah.
they knew
Very secretive.
it wasn't secretive. This one, there's no noise. And third, they don't even have to carry 10 pounds of batteries anymore on them because they could hook up to this. They were using portable solar PV systems.
It's definitely effective.
Yeah, it's very, very effective. And it wasn't, and their mind wasn't because of saving the dollar oil for the $180 cost by the time we went there. It was, and for global warming, they were looking at that. They were mainly looking at the casualty aspect. But now they're looking at the whole total aspect.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Especially as the military budget goes down, they need this, very important, to have the renewable alternate fuel systems.
Yeah. Also, like with natural disaster, having your off-grid. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, start out at Katrina. One of our group members, Steve Coyle, who's head of a company in San Francisco. Steve worked with me for about 3 years locally. We've done about 8 total zero energy commercial and institutional buildings down at Hudson Valley in the Catskill and then south. Steve has a company called Town-Green, and he put together people from Mobile, Alabama. He's done about 7 different communities out of this country now. He was just finishing a project down in Oban in Africa with the Prince Charles Foundation. He did a Kazakhstan, a village also in Palestine. And we're looking forward to find a community somewhere that wants, in America, that wants to go totally net zero, zero energy. And we're looking forward in the Northeast here to do that together.
Excellent, excellent. Well, George, I want to thank you so much for being on Scene TV. We really appreciate you and your story here about Zero Energy and Energy One. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. Okay.
And next on our show, I'd like to welcome Barry Moore and Jason Moore, the owner and founder of JNB Foods. Welcome, guys, to the studio.
Hello, Maya.
It's a pleasure to have you here on
Yes.
Scene TV.
Nice to meet you.
So, Barry, tell us about JNB Salsa.
Well, it's JNB Foods. We have a salsa. We have a bruschetta. We have a habanero sauce, which I always pronounce wrong. I was corrected yesterday by someone. We have 3 products. We're out in several stores. We started about a year and a half ago. I retired from the government and decided that we would they needed something for me to do because I was just goofing off. So we started with this new business, this venture. Okay, and so we started with our bruschetta and an apple corn salsa. And since then, we've grown our business. We've gotten into several locations, and now we just came out with a brand new product, our habanero.
Yeah.
So.
Tell us, were you a cook and this is how you became with the JNB Foods, or how did it come about?
Well,
actually,
I did,
I've been in the food business for quite a while, and I had some my own recipes, and we were working with his recipe for quite a while. Well, he was bringing it to family functions and Christmas and stuff like that, and I called him up one day and just basically said, I asked him, do you want to do this? Do you want to get something going? And that's kind of where it started.
So this is your baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's been your most rewarding passion?
As far as this goes,
Yeah.
actually, this weekend was great. I mean, just getting out there with the people, talking to them, and when you see everybody's reaction.
Are you in the grocery stores?
Yes, we are in ShopRite and all the capital region, actually all the way down towards
to New
the
York
city.
Yeah.
So we're in quite a few of those, and then quite a few of the smaller stores throughout the area too, like Pellegrino's and Fred the Butcher up in Clifton Park.
And then we're in several wineries out in the Finger Lakes.
Yeah.
So we've actually expanded all the way over to Seneca Lake. Okay,
nice.
We go from Watkins Glen all the way east. We're into the Catskill Mountains. We're in health food stores. We're in a little bit of everything. We've got our niche is everywhere, and that's what's nice about it. We're getting into some apple festivals. Yesterday was such a great day because we sold out of our apple corn salsa.
Yeah. Tell us about the apple corn salsa and its creation.
Well, that's Jason's baby. Okay, it
Tell us,
really
Jason.
is. He's the brains as far as the food goes. So
Not from the brains, but anyway. Yeah, that's just something I came up with about a little over a year ago. Just kind of messing around with different recipes. And everybody really liked it, and it's been a big hit.
Tell us
so
about
far,
some of
so.
the recipes that you can cook the foods with, the salsa, the apple corn
Actually,
salsa.
the apple corn goes really well in meatloaf, which was a surprise to me. We had it was one of our relatives actually.
It's one of
made
my
it.
cousins. Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah.
you know, I didn't even expect that. I tried it out myself. It was great. I'll make you can make a great omelet with it. What else do we make?
Well, actually, we have a store owner actually in Cooperstown. She's a bed and breakfast business who makes a soup with our apple corn salsa.
Oh, interesting.
And she takes our apple corn salsa and puts a few other ingredients in it, but she uses our product as the base. And that's been seen around, and she serves that to her customers.
Yeah, I find that it's a little on the sweeter side. What kind of
Right.
apples do you use?
We use granny apples typically. We sweeten naturally. We sweeten with some juices, and we use some
yeah, it comes from all the different products
that are in there. So that's what brings out all that flavor, and that's what's really nice about it. We don't use a lot of granulated sugar. We use natural sugars.
Excellent. And it's also gluten-free.
And it's gluten free. It is.
Yeah,
it
so
is.
that's
And
great.
2 of our 3 products are dairy free.
Okay.
Right now, we do
Yeah,
have a
that's
little bit of
important.
dairy in the apple corn salsa. It does have a little bit of butter, very small amount.
Okay.
It's almost a trace, but we do use that to cook down the onions when we first started.
Well, one of my favorites is the bruschetta. Tell us about the bruschetta.
Bruschetta is as old as it's probably a 20-year-old recipe.
Yeah.
Okay,
Was that the
something-
first one? Was the apple corn the first, or was the
Actually, the
bruschetta?
bruschetta is what
The
kind of
bruschetta is the
started
first
everything.
that really started us with the mindset of
Yeah, that was
taking
the
this
idea
to the
for
market.
everything.
Okay.
And then Jason created the apple corn, so we actually rolled them both out together. But the bruschetta is a family recipe, okay, and that's my recipe. Goes back many years. It's something I brought to my brother's house for Christmas Eve, and that's really
Uncle
what
Barry's
Uncle
bruschetta.
Barry's bruschetta. And that's what it was known as.
Really?
is Uncle Barry's bruschetta, and hence is the name. So.
Great, great.
So
And recently, you launched the habanero,
The habanero,
salsa,
yes,
and I
and
absolutely
that's-
love that. So
And you do. Actually, you were the first person to have it outside of us.
That's true. Yeah.
You were the first person
Yeah.
to try it at all, and we introduced it at the Nanotech.
Yep. Yeah, we ran the small Bunny event.
Right, the Small Bunny, and which was great, and it was I
It's
had
been
a
a big
lot
hit.
of happy people. Yeah,
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Love it.
Someone
Love it.
explained to me yesterday, they described it as an explosion in their mouth. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Well, it's definitely
Flavors.
spicy and hot. Yes.
Yeah, but it's a great product, but it's spicy hot with flavor. Okay, and that's what we pride
I
ourselves
want
on.
some now.
Well, there's a bottle right there. There's always that possibility.
Now,
So.
what with the bruschetta though? Tell us about some of the recipes. So you're bringing it over for Christmas dinner.
Yeah,
tell us about the recipes.
I
that
do a
you-
lot of things with it. Okay.
Concoction.
Well, I'm kind of a lazy guy, so every once in a while I'll pop the top on one and throw it in the microwave, heat it up, and throw it on noodles. It's kind of like a goulash without the meat.
Okay.
Okay.
It's great over pasta.
So it's already ready to go. You
It's
can
ready
just
to go.
basically
Yeah.
eat it.
You can
Or
eat it.
traditionally,
Out
they
of a
served
spoon.
on toasted bread with a little cheese sprinkled over it.
Yeah.
Your favorite cheese.
Oh.
Some fresh basil on top. And I made a bruschetta pizza a couple weeks ago, which was excellent. And I put it on. We put it on omelets. We put it on chicken. Okay, great on chicken. Okay, if you don't like fish, and a lot of people don't like the taste of fish,
Okay.
put some of our bruschetta on top of it, because
Just
you won't
smother it.
know. You will not know you're eating fish because of the flavor, and it permeates right through to the fish, which
So-
is neat.
It sounds delicious. So you're really happy with this business venture, right?
Oh, I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
I've had-
retired and you're
Yeah, I'm
busier
re-
than you've
yeah,
ever been.
I'm busier than I've ever been, but I'm having fun. I'm meeting a lot of great people.
Well, you found a purpose then.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, we
So-
recently had Jolene Moody on the show, and she was
Yeah.
talking about women entrepreneurs finding their purpose. And she was a reporter for YNN and moved back out to Syracuse and found that her purpose was actually speaking to women entrepreneurs. And
Right.
so she's found this new life. And just like you, finding this new product that's giving you a new life and new revenues and possibly a really nice retirement.
And possibly a nice
A
retirement.
hit on Shark Tank, perhaps. I'm coming with you for Shark Tank.
That's where we're going. So, we're
You heard it here first, Shark Tank.
That's right. We're blazing the
JNB
trail.
Foods, blazing the
So,
trail.
We're blazing the trail, and it's been a lot of fun. And it's like I say, I've met so many wonderful people that have helped me, like yourself,
Right. Thank
because
you.
you've given us some great ideas, and we've really taken it to the next level, and now we're hoping to get into another big chain pretty soon.
Excellent.
And I won't say who yet until we're confirmed.
Well, I'll be there.
But yes, you will. And I've met a lot of great people through the business-to-business networks and some of the networking we've done. And actually, I may speak at an entrepreneur session at Brian Stratton School.
Oh, excellent.
So,
Brian and Stratton is actually doing
right.
a job fair with me on November 6th at Portofino's.
Yeah, right. She approached me about
Valerie,
going
yes.
down.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
so,
excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
So something new.
Yeah. Jason, are you still working your full-time job?
I am.
Yeah. So where do you sleep?
When
do you
whenever
sleep?
I can.
When?
Yes, yeah. I try to fit it in there. You have to. But
What's your current job?
I work for a large chemical company.
Okay.
We do a lot of cleaning chemicals and that kind of stuff. We also do food safety audits for a lot of different grocery stores. Kind of works in my favor as far as the business goes.
Yeah, definitely a great lead.
Yeah, and it helps also because I know what needs to be done. As far as the regulatory side. So it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
So do you think that you'll be quitting your job so you can run this
One
full
would hope.
time? We won't say that
Yeah.
too loud, right? But it's excellent. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of both of you.
Well, thank you.
What else would you like to share about JNB Foods? I apologize.
Well, the nice thing about us is that we're a local company. We're right here in New York. We try to use as many New York products as we can, and we're a pride of New York company. Okay,
That's very
which is
important.
It's really important,
Yeah.
and it's one of the we could actually make our salsa cheaper by moving it out of the state. Okay, and we chose not to because we want people to experience the flavor. Okay, and the made in New York venture that we're on, and that's really.
And you're also giving back to the community where the farmers are
Yep.
playing a role here. And
Well, Maya, there's another way we give back to the community, and people don't know this about our product but we make it in Glen Industries. The people who label our products are special needs children, okay, and adults, of course, but they're special needs people that put the labels on our bottles for us. Okay, we make the product, we bottle it, we lit it, they put the labels on for us. So it's a way for us to give back to the community as well through some employment for special needs people.
well, some of the places that JNB Foods can be found are Ryan's Food
Ryan's
Market.
Food Market.
Ryan's
yes.
Fresh Market.
Right.
Yes.
Ryan's Fresh Market. The co-op,
The
Niskayuna Co-op.
Niskayuna Co-op. It's in
the
the
ShopRite.
ShopRites. It's in the Honest Weight Co-op.
Oh yeah,
now.
you just
I
went
just
into
got
Honest.
into Honest
Yeah,
Weight.
that's great.
Pellegrinos in Central
Pellegrino.
Ave.
Fred the Butcher up in Clifton
Butcher.
Park. It's in Sadie's Gifts in Lake George.
Okay.
Okay, we're down in the in Delhi at the Natural Food Store in Delhi. We're in Cooperstown Cheese Company.
We're all over.
We're all over the place.
We're in quite a few stores in Western New York.
Okay.
And if you check our website, jnbfoods.com, under locations, you'll see all the areas. It's close to 100 stores, including ShopRite. And so.
Yeah.
Wow, so
They're
you've
a
grown
big one.
We've
really
grown. Yeah,
fast
we really have.
in a short period
Yep.
of time,
Yeah.
a year and a half.
Yep. 70,000 miles later.
That's exhausting.
Yeah, I've put a lot of miles on, but
But it's fun and
But
you're
it's fun.
rewarding. You're
Yeah.
doing something
Yeah.
that you love and you're
Yeah.
passionate about.
Yep. It's
You're having a great
it's
time.
great time. It's something I want to build, and we use.
Poor Jason's still got to go back to work.
This poor
but
guy does. Yeah, he does.
You and I are having a great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. But we
I
also
fun on the weekends.
we employ our children too. I have
Yeah.
a daughter that that does my shipping.
Okay.
Okay, and then my other daughter sells this at farmers markets.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you're a family-grown business.
So we're a
And
family-grown
we had my
business.
daughter out there selling
and
this weekend
yes,
as well.
we did. We had my granddaughter
and you guys
out
were
there
at the
selling.
Altamont Orchard?
We were, and you weren't.
I was apple picking, but
Yes,
the
you
wrong
were.
orchard.
Somewhere else.
I did see it. But yes, we were there, and we're going to be at Gould's in October. Okay, and any event, if you have an event coming, anybody has an event where they need vendors, we're happy to be there.
Oh,
And
excellent.
Because it helps us grow our business, and people will learn more about JNB Foods, about who we are.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you have a delicious product. I'm so excited for you and your growth, and I just wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for being on Scene TV.
thank
It
you
was a
very
pleasure
much.
to have you
Yes,
here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yep. This episode is sponsored by SEO Mechanics Darcy Knapp.